For the next 31 days on the FCPA Compliance Report, we're going to be bringing you a daily tip, strategy, or idea that you can use to improve your program. Here's your host, Tom Fox, the Compliance Evangelist.
This month's sponsor of 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance program is Affiliated Monitors. Founded in 2004, Affiliated Monitors provides professional, independent integrity monitoring and ethics and compliance assessments nationally and internationally and across almost all industries. With its knowledge of effective ethics and compliance programs and cultures, Affiliated Monitors is respected for its work as the corporate monitor on matters ranging from multinational corporations to small and mid-sized companies and even individuals. Having served in over 750 monitorships, no one has more experience as an independent monitor than the team at Affiliated Monitors. For more information on how an independent monitor can help improve your company's ethics and compliance programs, visit this month's sponsor, Affiliated Monitors, at www.affiliatedmonitors.com. The competitive compliance advantage of data. The DOJ and SEC have made it clear that they expect companies to be more robust in their use of data analytics in their compliance programs. This means using data not only to detect and prevent illegal conduct, but also in the remediation prong of any best practices compliance programs, as well as through continuous improvement. In 2019, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Matthew Miner said that the DOJ will inquire about whether compliance departments will have access to internal data, which could help them identify misconduct, and whether compliance officers make adequate use of data analytics in their review of investigations. Since at least 2016, in the FCPA enforcement action involving Key Energy, the Securities and Exchange Commission has been communicating to the compliance professional on the need for data. In 2019, the Department of Justice released its antitrust compliance guidance, which was the clearest statement regarding this mandate. This use of data analytics and transaction monitoring by the compliance function was also emphasized in the 2020 update when the following questions were posed. Do compliance and control personnel have sufficient indirect or direct access to relevant sources of data to allow for a timely and effective monitoring and testing of policies, controls, and transactions? Do any independent impediments exist that limit access to relevant sources of data? And if so, what is the company doing to address those impediments? This set of queries is not simply phrased in the negative, but requires a company to work to make such data available to the CCO and the compliance function. This is a much more stringent requirement than the CCO calling up IT to find out what data might be available to monitor on an ongoing basis. These questions require every company to take affirmative steps to make the data available and get it to the compliance function in some type of usable format. Finally, this inquiry ties back to Part 2 of the 2020 updates, which required the CCO and compliance function to be empowered to function effectively. This requirement for accessibility to siloed data and its use by compliance will be critical in the business world moving forward. Compliance is truly at an inflection point, in the forces of the coronavirus health crisis, the economic dislocation, and now the 2020 update will drive compliance functions towards more and greater use of data going forward. All of this government and regulatory focus on data for compliance programs will require many law school trained compliance practitioners to develop a new skill set to meet this mandate. The first thing you need to consider is the value of obtaining the data. Clearly, the more data a compliance program receives, the more information it has in the form of feedback from its customers, i.e. employees. This means a higher value add, and the higher the value added, the greater the chance it will create a lasting edge. That edge can be in preventing or detecting conduct, or could lead to an FCPA violation. It could be part continuous monitoring leading to continuous improvement, or could demonstrate to the SEC and DOJ the robustness of your compliance regime. Next is, how soon do you reach a point where additional data no longer enhances the value of your compliance solution? The more slowly the marginal value decreases, the stronger the solution enhancement will be going forward. Finally, there is little to no learning drop-off for your compliance information. The reason is simple. It is a business process, and the more data you have and the longer you keep it, the more you can refine your process. How fast does the relevance of the data depreciate? If the data becomes obsolete quickly, then all other things being equal, it will be easier for a rival to enter the market, but it does not match the incumbent's years of learning from data. As the only rival for an effective compliance program in this scenario is an ineffective compliance program, it should not be a construct to overcome for you. How does the data you mine translate into an actionable solution across geographic and business lines? Ideally, the data will do both, but the difference between the two is important. When data moves from one area and improves the compliance solution for a section of the business, a company that can then customize it across business lines. This is network effects. It can also work to make the compliance solution or enhancements quite sticky and provide a key advantage for competing customers. How fast can you turn the data or insights into actual compliance solutions or an upgrade? If you can do so rapidly, it can provide faster and greater benefits. But when it takes you years or successive product generations to enhance data enhancements based on data, your compliance solution may well fall by the wayside. This means that the competitive advantage from your greater data is stronger when the learning translates into more frequent improvements of your compliance solutions or enhancement for your current employees rather than simply for future customers of your compliance solution. The bottom line is that it is not if, but when you begin to incorporate compliance information into your compliance program to make the program more efficient and your business processes run more effectively. So what are today's 3 key takeaways? Number 1, the DOJ has mandated the CCO use data. 2, data can be an actionable solution across business lines and geo units. And 3, always remember to use data as a business strategy. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox. I'd like to thank you again for joining me for this episode of 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance Program around business ventures. And I hope you will join me for our next episode tomorrow. Also, I'd like to shout out to our sponsor, Affiliated Monitors, for sponsoring this month's podcast series. This podcast series on 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance Program is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.